Yo, what's good, guys? So, I actually ended up losing money yesterday because I was trying to get exposure to the market, and the market ended up having a pullback yesterday. Obviously, it's just straight back up today, but yesterday it had a pullback, and I didn't want to, think, oh, it's already um, I didn't want to think that it was too high or that the top is in because that's always how you're just sidelined forever, right? Um, so I had bids into Hyperliquid and I got, part of the system was selling here. So an hourly close before 42 or under 42.2. Um, I got stopped out and yep, what do you know, it's all the way back, but it's all good. I sold ZEC here as well. The rest of my ZEC I sold here. I re-entered here today actually because started to look good, so I am up a little bit in that. And then what else was it? APLD. Took a small loss on this. I think like 200. I entered here, I believe, and then sold New York Open yesterday. Everything was not looking very good, so once it lost this New York Open low, I sold somewhere here. Took a small loss on that. If it comes back above here, I will most likely re-enter. Yeah, but all the normal like strong ones just insane off the dip again. Like, so basically what happened is, yeah, yesterday things started pulling back and I thought that there would be a kind of wider market pullback. So, I decided to chill, get out of my positions. I cut losses on the other ones and then get out of my other positions and just, chill and wait for a pullback to happen in equities and in crypto. And then it ended up being literally one day of a pullback. And this video is gonna be more of like a journal video, by the way. Just kind of my thoughts on what I did wrong and whatnot. But yeah, so because I don't have any examples of wins, but and so I decided not to wake up early. I woke up at 8, 8:30. Usually I wake up at 6:30, And I decided not to wake up early, and I missed all the opportunities to get in Micron here. I missed Micron. I think there was Intel. I missed getting in Intel. And Dell was another trade. I missed getting into Dell. Yeah. And I also cut this. We were going for the reclaim of 36. I cut a small $200 loss there as well. And yeah. So I think also I thought that this would be so good. I didn't see any reason not to play like this long, especially like this second tap. I wasn't actually looking at the second tap, but I don't know, I just didn't take it because it's kind of like knife catching. But so yesterday in particular, what were the mistakes there? Well, I think what I did was good for the most part. On hype, I think I was entering bids too early, and I'm also in two groups that I'm kind of like getting trade ideas from sometimes, or getting like extra confluence on ideas that I already have. And so I was, we got Hype and ZEC. Like those are basically the two strongest higher cap assets in crypto. And if I think we're going to have a rally, then those two are going to be the ones that go. So I'm going to trade those and I'm going to try to get exposure, right? So the thing is, right, I saw this happening on Bitcoin. I saw this happening, this grinding down all day. At that point, I should have just cut all my trades when I don't like it. And then if Bitcoin stays above, I can either decide to get in or not. And if I think something like Bitcoin is not looking very good or very strong, here it was looking super strong. Like there was almost no sell pressure, not a lot of volume, just slow grinding up. I thought it looked good, right? And I, got in ZEC down here and it ended up working out. But when I think it genuinely doesn't look good, I think I should either de-risk or just completely cut my positions. And I thought, there's a chance that equities could just, go up again, right? And it's like, okay, I want to have exposure. And then the day that I, started getting the extra exposure again, I took a dip, and now I'm not in anything. And then I wasn't able to get in this morning to make up for losses and more, right? So what I did correctly was trying to get exposure to a trending market. I bought, a stock, I bought APLD, which is part of the trending assets. I thought that it could, be one of them, right? So obviously the other stock was not part of the trending one, so I should have sized less. I did size less actually. I didn't size that much into it, but the main things I should be looking at: Nvidia, Intel, AMD, Micron, SanDisk, ARM. These are what I should be looking at to get exposure in when it comes to stocks, right? And then crypto, like I said, ZEC and Hype. And okay, so I need to get exposure to these things. And when I think that a market could start trending, obviously crypto wasn't trending, there was no big rally, but Bitcoin is heading in the right direction, so I am no longer going to be sidelined, and I'm going to buy the strongest coins and simply take a good trade to get exposure. And yeah, Nvidia is going crazy too. Oh, and I sold Nvidia here, so I got a small profit on Nvidia as well, because I was already in. But so if I'm looking to get exposure to a trending market, here's the thing that I'm a little bit like kind of iffy about, because I was talking to someone that is really good at trading stocks, and he said that he doesn't like buying dips on stocks, even if it's a crazy trending market. And I wanted to buy this, but he's like, he doesn't like buying dips, and I could see why. Even in crypto, you wouldn't want to just buy dips. This is a system. It's an actual system that I have, learned pretty well to buy dips. But the thing is, what's the probability, that this keeps going down versus going back up, right? But what's the probability that you win after? I was saying that these are what I need to get exposure to. I was saying about buying dips. So what is the probability that I try to buy this dip and it goes lower? What is the probability that it goes higher? And then what is the probability that I buy when it goes to try to reclaim and it ends up going higher, And if you think about it like that, it's very hard to know without back testing, right? Which, I'll try to get some data that's already available. I'll try to get like real numbers on this. Obviously, this guy is like pretty good at trading, and he doesn't like to buy dips, and maybe he's just noticed that buying dips is just not as profitable. I think that when something is trending so much like this, I personally um, think that it is good because you can get in and then get out what, like, the trend is broken at one point. Your invalidation is simply the trend being broken. So it's the same thing as getting in here, right? Essentially, kind of, right? So if I get in here, my invalidation is a 1 hour close below this area. And if it closes below this area, then that means that the trend is starting to actually cool down and we're going to go to a deeper pullback, right? So then that means that I should be buying all these dips in these ranges because as the trend continues, it's going to continue to play out, correct? There's not going to be any big pullbacks or anything. So I will, back test it and kind of try to see um, how many times it would work out versus not. Obviously, you can, take a look right now after it broke all-time high. Every kind of, like, the first kind of dips into areas, like, you can see this here, this, you have this area, this line, we come into that, and then you just play it against intraday lows, right? So, like, obviously it's hard to get in now, but if you get in now, you would play it against this still. um, the main reason why I was so kind of like, this is the same feeling that I had when gold and silver were trending super hard. Um, Gold and silver were trending super hard. I got in the first all-time high breakout on both of those. And then after that, after I sold for a profit, I wasn't able to get back in, or I was like too, I was basically too much of a pussy, I guess, right? Or I couldn't figure out how to get back in and just simply have exposure, which is the most important thing for any trend, is I need to make sure that I have exposure into these trending assets, right? And I need to be picking the correct ones. So what are the ones that are actually trending right now? And not any, APLD like this genuinely looks not bad, right? But what are the ones that are actually trending, right? Those are what I need to be looking at on the dips. What are the ones with the most strength, okay? You can kind of see the same thing of these lows here, and you simply just take along against these intraday lows and let it play out, right? Obviously, this is just up so much, and it's like, the other thing you think is like, oh, how much longer can this go? And that's another big thing that floods you out of crazy gains, you can remember gold and silver if you're around for this, right? Like, this literally just kept going up. We had the first all-time high break. I believe, I don't know, I actually don't have the level marked. It was like 74 or something, I swear. Yeah. I don't know, somewhere around here, but it literally went up 60%, right? And like, this is, higher market cap than, it's harder for this to go up than equities. This went up 60% because there was like the bottleneck, or there was like some kind of demand or something, right? AI is the same thing. There is crazy demand. Most of these companies, like Micron, can't even keep up with all the demand, right? Micron can't even keep up with all the demand. How much is this up from the all-time highs that we played? 60-ish percent, right? 60%. This is way easier for Micron to go up than silver and gold, right? this trend is going to continue to play out because AI is also a massive thing that has massive demand, meaning this can keep going higher for a very long time, right? So, those are kind of the mistakes that I made yesterday. Well, not really mistakes, but I tried to get exposure, and then I wasn't, and then I cut, and then I wasn't able to get in today. It's really that simple, to be honest. Maybe I was oversight, or maybe I lost too much, because what ended up happening is I round tripped Zek, and then I lost on hype, and I knew that this would have to, like, I wasn't sure this would really play out correctly. So it's like I round tripped 400 on Zach, and then I round tripped, or I lost 400 on hype, and then I lost, or I lost 300 on hype, and then 200 on both of the other stocks, and then I made on Nvidia, right? So not really mistakes, okay? Not really mistakes. It was simply just needing to wake up today and get exposure again. Now, what is the main thing here? What is like the main takeaway? The main takeaway is not make like I cannot make the same mistake again, right? So from now on, I will continue trying to get exposure, and when I see lows being formed on these trending stocks, I will simply get in and simply take the risk. When I see that there are intraday setups like a range break, I will simply get in, simply take the risk. Every single time. Now that we have a definitive sustained trend, yes, everything is up a lot. Yes, there should probably be a pullback sometime soon. Can this go higher before it does that? Yes. And if it does have a pullback, I'll take a small loss. I'll get back in when we start heating up again, and I'll keep playing it over and over. But the main thing is with these trends at the beginning, I was literally in Micron down here. I was literally in AMD down here. But I didn't take it seriously enough. Like, it's almost like I have to be more delusional. I have to be more delusional. It's the same when it comes to trading meme coins. I think sometimes I need to be a little more delusional and not think that the ceilings are so low. I think maybe I'm just conditioned to be as realistic as possible. But I need to be thinking about these trends when the trends play out. Decade all-time high breaks, yearly all-time high breaks, massive range breaks. You know, I mean, I did the correct thing on ARM, right? When I longed it and I held, but I was in Micron and I didn't take it seriously, right? I was like, okay, I don't really care, like, what is really gonna happen here? What am I really gonna get out of that? You know, this is a lot of money. This is like, even just the small little positions that I had would be worth 20K right now. Obviously I probably wouldn't hold, but I need to be getting exposure, figuring out how to get exposed, like being in these trends early and realize that this is possibly a big trend. And then I need to get into that, and I need to hold it, take profit, and re-enter in separate trades. That's how you do it, right? You have a high time frame trade, so you always have exposure, and then you take low time frame trades. This dip, this continuation, you know, right here, this continuation, intraday setups, right here. Right here on SanDisk, all-time high break, right here, I believe, or right here. Earnings happen, and then this is one of the trending assets, right? Obviously is a little skeptical with earnings, but then when we come back and we continue, I simply get in here against the intraday low right here, below the previous all-time high area, and I just get exposure right here. Look, we break this range again, bam, and I'm holding this, TPing, but I'm re-entering another trade, right? So I'm never not exposed. I'm never fully selling all of my positions that are in the profit. That is the most important thing that I have to work on. Being in these things at the all-time high breaks, just like when silver happened, and fully understanding that this can keep going up forever, not forever, but for a very long time, and like actually actively thinking about how long this trend can last. How big of a narrative is this? These things can simply just keep going up. Okay, so yeah, that's basically like the bulk of what I've been, kind of thinking about today. Just doing some introspection on myself and thought process, and like, when I need to be more aggressive and stuff, and buying these dips and things. And it's like, at this point, obviously today we just went up so much, like, I don't know if I'm gonna really if I take any trades tomorrow, I don't know if I'm gonna, or I mean Friday or Monday, I don't know if I'm gonna really be sizing stuff, right? I don't know, maybe. But if we ever have any kind of pullback or drawdown, I'm gonna be buying against lows. I'm gonna be getting my exposure, and then we're gonna go, start trending again, and then I'm gonna be adding on the way up and taking profits on those trades, right? And then when we make massive moves, I take profit on my high time frame trades, and then I just always have exposure to the trending market, and I'm not sidelined like I was with silver and gold, because I can't do that again. I simply cannot do that again. Yes, I already missed a lot of this trend. I missed a lot. Everything is up 60% already, right? Everything is up 60, 70, 100% already since the all-time high breaks, and some stuff is up 150% from the war lows, right? Hopefully, I pray that we have a cool down, that they give me a way to get in without just having to simply buy the top. But yeah, I'm gonna try not to think that I'm late and be sidelined because I think I'm late. Cannot make that mistake again. And obviously, when the gold and silver trade happened, that was the first time I experienced that. When this trade happened, this is the first time I've experienced this. This is the first time I've ever traded this stuff, so it's hard for me to just know. It's hard for me to just get in and just. I've never, this is the first on silver and gold. This is the first mega trend on a big asset that I've ever seen before. So it's hard for me to have the understanding that these other assets can just go up forever. So it's like I give myself a little bit of, leeway in that, but I have now experienced a trend before, and now I'm experiencing my second big trend. So now it shouldn't matter what asset it is, as long as I can understand it enough to know how big this is, and I've seen how much money can go into these trends, even on mega, big cap equities, commodities, and tokens. I've seen what happens on these all-time high breakouts. So any all-time high breakout now is like, doesn't matter how crowded the trade seems, it doesn't matter anything. If the narrative is good, it's trending, and we have the all-time high breakout, I need to, every single time, fully think about the possibilities of this trend And if I think something could be very big, or if I think it is very big, like AI is obviously a massive thing, obviously there's so much demand, right? Then that is an all-time high breakout that I simply just hold, especially if there's strength. If there's a lot of strength, the more strength there is, the less profit I take. Okay? And yeah, I think that's it for the video, or for the little journal. Um, I'll probably write some of these thoughts down as well, just to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because, you know, I didn't even have to size this stuff on all-time high breakouts that much. I could have thrown in 2K on 10x leverage and made 20K. Imagine if I sized, you know. Obviously that doesn't matter. I think these all-time high breakouts, you take small size anyway, but you're just holding it for so long for the asymmetric gain. And then you just size like the dips or the continuation after the trend already played out, right? Because at the start of the trend, it's not a trend yet, and it's hard to know, it's hard to size it. So yeah, if I play it like that, I can make so much money. Still can. Hopefully the market chills for a bit. Hopefully we have some kind of pullback. Maybe not. I mean, on commodities, when the commodities happened, we had pullbacks. You know, like we had this big pullback at first on gold. I remember this. This was like a few months. Oh wait. Where was it? Here. I remember this. 2 months. This is pretty big. But like, yeah. When we were trending really, really hard, the largest pullbacks were like, fucking hell, a day. Wow. That's interesting. Because that lines up. That lines up with how this stuff is moving. Largest pullbacks are literally a day. Three days. This is a day. So it's like, you know, just go based off of what the market is kind of saying, obviously. What I'm thinking, what the chart is saying, but yeah. Try to just get in. If there's any dips, I'll probably size small on the next dip, and then if we keep dipping, I'll just cut, and then I'll size big if we get like a good enough dip, or if we just simply go back up to continue, I'll get in. Simple stuff. Nothing really that wrong. It's just like at the start of these trends, and then making sure that I have constant exposure to the trending market, and I don't think that, oh, this is as high as it's gonna go. Don't FUD myself out, and get in. But also be careful. So yeah, that's everything.